Leader of the third party.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Last week I asked this government to study the health impacts of the fossil gas industry in BC. The Minister of Energy and Climate Solutions assured this House that the analysis had already been done. He referenced a 2018 report on fracking in BC, but the Minister will know that that report did not include an examination of the public health implications of fracking in the northeast of our province. Thanks to relentless lobbying by the Canadian Association of Petroleum Producers and others, we still don't have a comprehensive, cumulative, and independent health impact assessment of LNG and fracking. We can use data from the rest of North America to piece the picture together, and the results are clear. Fracking methane out of the earth harms human health, increasing pressure and costs to our healthcare system, social programs, and infrastructure. My question, Mr. Speaker, is to the Minister of Health. When will her ministry step up and conduct the research that wasn't done in 2018?
Minister of Energy.
Well, as noted for the member last week, the government instituted a fundamental review of hydraulic fracturing in BC, which came with recommendations that were broadly implemented, that have had a significant effect. As the member will know, there have been significant progress with respect to emissions in the oil and gas industry in a general sense, especially around methane emissions, a 51% reduction from 2015. And this work continues. He'll also know that in environmental assessment processes in BC, including recent ones with respect to solicitants and other projects, these issues have been comprehensively raised, and they are in those processes. So I disagree with the characterization of the member. I would say that always in our regulation, especially of water and of human health, Honourable Speaker, is at the forefront of that regulation, whether it's done by ministries of the government or by the BC Energy Regulator.
Member supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As we anticipate the results of the Clean BC Update review, I'd like to anticipate the rehearsed lines we hear from this government defending its gamble on LNG, climate be darned. They cite the handful of First Nations who've partnered on these projects, forgetting to mention the many First Nations who oppose them due to economic, social, and environmental harms. Every dollar invested in LNG is a dollar that could propel us into the inevitable clean energy transition, creating more jobs per dollar spent than on polluting fossil fuels. This government loved to say that BC's LNG is the cleanest in the world. Call it what you want, clean poison is still poison. BC LNG burned elsewhere will blast megatons of climate bomb into our global atmosphere. It doesn't recognize national boundaries. My question is for the Minister of Energy and Climate Solutions. Minister, which fossil fuel lobby group hired the marketing genius who dreamed up the cleanest LNG in the world? Fiction.
Minister.
Well, Honourable Speaker, I think it's reasonable for the member to oppose projects in British Columbia, including ones led by First Nations, such as Cedar LNG, led by the Haisla, or Solissim's LNG, led by the Nisga'a First Nation. That's reasonable. He can disagree with the Haisla, and he can disagree with the Nisga'a. What he can't disagree with is the Cedar LNG project will have the lowest emission LNG in the world. That isn't, Honourable Speaker, that isn't an issue of opinion. That is an issue of fact, Honourable Speaker. We're going to continue to do what we've done from the beginning, which is to ensure a fair return on BC resources, that communities are protected, that we address climate commitments, that we respect First Nations, Honourable Speaker, and that we ensure that British Columbians and Canadians work on major projects in our province. In this area, we have continued to meet those commitments, and we're going to continue to do so.